we'll begin on the next item on our agenda, which is a recommendation from the Division of Trading and Markets. This recommendation, if we adopt it today, will put in place a new anti-fraud rule, specifically aimed at the abusive and manipulative practice called naked short selling. A half-century ago, securities trading required legions of messengers who scurried about Lower Manhattan with parcels filled with stock certificates and checks. And in those days, the New York Stock Exchange would have to close for part of each week to catch up with the paperwork. Today, paper's been largely replaced with electronic data, and that's a very good thing. It's allowed trading volume on the nation's securities exchanges to rise exponentially, and it's helped to drive down the cost of trading for individual investors to a small fraction of what they had to pay in the old days. But it's also given rise to new opportunities for fraud. In particular, today's elaborate system of electronic net settlement has enabled a particularly pernicious form of fraud called naked short selling. In a garden variety short sale, the operation of the market is a powerful discipline on the short seller, because he or she can experience unlimited losses if the stock's price rises. But that potential for loss, and hence the discipline that the market exerts on short sellers, disappears if the short seller doesn't cover the sale as required. Legal short sellers have to borrow the shares that they sell. Illegal naked short sellers don't bother with that part. They sell shares of stock that they haven't borrowed and that they have no intention of borrowing. In some cases, they sell shares that don't even exist. Illegal naked short selling is an especially serious threat to smaller public companies whose relatively thin market capitalizations can be more easily manipulated. And in the same way, it threatens the savings and investments of many retail investors in these smaller companies. There are many legitimate reasons that a trade might fail to settle. But the extreme abuses that are reflected in securities being chronically listed on Reg Show's threshold security list for months and years at a time is ample evidence that there is also fraud in the market that needs to be arrested. Periodically, there are reports that following a legitimate purchase of 100% of the outstanding shares of a microcap company, millions of phantom shares continue to be traded by naked short sellers.